Hello and welcome to The Car Time. I'm Aaron Brown.
And I am Justin Westbrook.
Justin, did you get a haircut or something?
I did, and you know, there's something different about you. I can't put my finger on it exactly, but it's a good change, I think.
Well, thank you. Let's get into it. Our top story this week, probably sort of, is Rich Energy in Formula One. One of the, I'm sorry to say, most interesting stories to come out of Formula One racing.
It made me give a shit about Formula One.
In years. Is not something that happened on the track, but it has happened off the track and on Twitter, where all great disputes take place these days. America's only Formula One team, the Haas Formula One team, has in the past year been sponsored by a very mysterious and strange energy drink company called Rich Energy. Because a lot of racing fans are like, who the hell is Rich Energy? Where do they come from? Where do I find the product? And how do they have money to sponsor a Formula One team? We did a big deep dive into them earlier this year. What we found is that their origins are indeed very mysterious, and they are sort of an adapted trademark from a Croatian company, and a few years ago only had a few $100s in the bank, but now somehow can sponsor an F1 team, which is not a cheap venture, and they don't really, no one really knows where their product is located. It's all very mysterious. Like, who are these people? Where do they come from? And in the past few months, the CEO of the company, a guy named William Story, kind of looks like a ZZ Top roadie.
Or a pirate.
Or a pirate. He has been out on Twitter doing all sorts of outrageous things.
And picking fights with
people.
Yeah.
Last week, he got on Twitter and announced that Rich Energy was firing the Haas Formula One team, citing poor performance and a PC culture in racing.
How do you fire an F1 team?
Well, you kind of can't, because it seems like there's a big dispute going on between William Story and the minority shareholders at Rich Energy, but he still controls the Twitter account. Which brings us to our latest development, which is what happened, Kristen.
Yes, exactly. Rich Energy is now Lightning Volt Limited.
Lightning Volt Limited, folks.
It's a great name for an energy drink. And William Story is out. He is no longer the CEO or a person with significant control, was the quote. And I guess good riddance, because he kind of was a firecracker on Twitter, but also this is kind of what we needed in F1. I don't like or care about F1. I've watched clips of it. I've read about it. I work here, clearly, so I have exposure to it. But honestly, it's just a sport for rich people. These are cars that I will never be able to drive or own in any sense of the word. Our cars will never look like what an F1 car is, like these open wheel high-tech things. And the people who drive an F1, most of the drivers are boring as shit. The only interesting one is Lewis, but he's so fucking annoying that it's also annoying to watch him. And then on top of that, you have like these multi-billion-dollar sponsorships and all the advertising and everything, and it's like, it's just so buckled down and it's so corporate and it's just so boring.
So you're jealous of the rich people, in other words.
Aren't we all? Yes, we are. That's the takeaway here.
Yeah.
Very jealous.
I'm
jealous of scandal.
I think that F1 kind of needed this, because you see what a tightly controlled, brand-friendly sport it is, and millions and millions of dollars riding these sponsorship deals and these brand deals. And here's one company out here, even if it's kind of a backmarker team like Haas, just doing this insane shit and tweeting at people and firing people and putting up these crazy macro images. It's totally unexpected and weird, and it's been really wild to watch. And I think everybody who's follows the sport has been just kind of united in like making popcorn and seeing what happens next.
If anything, this gives me hope, because F1 is like the top of the top echelon of racing. Like, you don't fuck with F1. It's all buttoned down and corporate at that level. Nothing shakes it. Except for this one guy who looks like a pirate, literally just like came in and had a bunch of money and slapped his company on
Well, did he have a bunch of money? I mean, that's kind of what's in dispute here.
Allegedly had a bunch of money.
After
and then
all,
slapped.
Rich Energy has been accused of stealing their logo from a British bicycle company called White Bikes, and a court ordered them to pay $45,000 in payment to White Bikes. And when you sponsor an F1 team, that's chump change to you. That's probably
like tires.
That's probably like your toilet paper budget for one race weekend, and they were somehow not able to, or not willing to come up with that money.
Which is why this is so great. No one is safe. Nothing is sacred. Not even F1. It can be infiltrated. So I think we should all take this as an example.
And on the plus side, we are all going to be extremely wealthy soon, because we at our office have this case of Rich Energy. And this is now, since it no longer exists, a limited edition collector's item. I'm going to put on eBay 25 years from now and put my kids through college that way.
Just kidding. We're not going to be around in 25 years. We'll all be dead.
We'll all be dead because of climate change, yes.
Well, actually, speaking of climate change, we should move on to something that will undeniably save the planet. An electric hypercar.
Yes, from Lotus, no less. The first
From Lotus.
full-on Lotus electric car, unless you count the Tesla Roadster, which was basically a Lotus full of laptop batteries. But this is far more sophisticated.
Yes, because it's 2019. So to recap, Lotus was bought by Geely in 2017, and everyone was really excited because Geely also owns Volvo. And you see what Lotus did to Volvo. They gave them a bunch of money, left them alone, and were like, do what you do best, which is making really good Swedish cars. And that is exactly what Volvo did. So it seems like the same thing kind of happened to Lotus, where they got a bunch of Chinese money, and the Chinese basically told them, build good cars for now and for the future. And so this is what we have. It is called the Evija.
Evija. Lotus Evija. Evija?
I don't think you're supposed to pronounce the J.
Oh, is it Evija?
I think it's Evija.
I just, you know, all this stuff is written. I actually have no idea how it's pronounced.
Well, I had to go online and find someone who said it today, so he might be wrong.
Were they British?
Yes.
Was it the British pronunciation? Was it Evija?
Sure. I know. I don't think.
Well, as
the
Americans,
British...
it's our right to butcher it. We can call it the Evija.
But
so
are
the
the
Lotus.
British even allowed to make J's silent?
I
don't think so.
I mean, here in America, we've taken the English language and we've made it better. You know?
have made it better. It's the Evija.
Yeah.
The Evija has 2,000 horsepower.
2,000 horsepower.
About 1,300 pound-feet of torque, and it's going to cost about $2 million. And
Oh.
Lotus is only making 130 of them. That is kind of sad because it's like, then what is performance and speed? It's only toys for the rich, and it's not democratized at all. But anyway.
But on the other hand, you know, this is basically a McLaren P1, Porsche 918 level hypercar, like just
more.
Just,
oh my God,
with
it's
more powerful, potentially, you know, with even more speed. But it's all electric, and I am all for pushing that envelope of EV technology and hopefully learning lessons that you can apply to cars that poors like myself can afford.
Eventually it'll trickle down.
Eventually it'll trickle
us.
down, yes, to you know my Nissan Leaf I want to lease for $200 a month.
Yeah,
It'll be
that's
just as
a
fast
good
as
car.
that.
That's a good car. So if you have a Leaf, you have an Evija, is what we're saying.
Yeah, same thing.
But it looks great. It's it kind of looks like. Well, I think my favorite part is the fact that the spoiler and the diffuser both kind of move. So apparently there's this mode that you can put it in, like it's the top speed warp mode. And so the whole car hunkers down a little bit, and the active arrow makes the spoiler go up and the diffuser open up, and it's really, really cool. It looks like you're about to launch into like fucking space or something.
I don't call it elegant. It's a very clean design. It's very modern. And you know, even though the price is stratospheric, this is one of the most exciting things we've seen from Lotus in a decade, which has kind of been limping along,
right?
making Evoras and the Elise since, you know, W. Bush was president. So,
Yeah.
like, you know, this is really just a quantum leap for them.
That's the other thing, is Lotus has been kind of coming along with just more versions of the Evora, and while that's awesome, the Evora is old, man, and this is brand new. It's apparently a brand new chassis, and I actually sat down with the Lotus CEO not too long ago, and he seemed pretty excited about this. He's paid to be excited about it when he's talking to me, but it is actually exciting, and they have promised a lot of electrified cars in the future.
Mm-hmm.
He really wouldn't say what that means, so does that mean like an SUV? Does that mean like a sedan or something? I don't know, but he did promise that all the cars are gonna have that Lotus DNA, which is like more marketing bullshit. But I think we can distill it to say that they'll be sports cars.
I for one, am thrilled to one day own a lightweight Lotus electric crossover, just like Colin Chapman would have wanted.
What do we think about the interior?
It looks like a space. It's very McLaren-ish again, but that sort of center bar and you know, the big digital dash there. I mean, it's you know, it looks like you'd expect from a modern hypercar.
Do you see that kind of screen on the top? Is that a mirror?
That looks like a mirror, yeah.
Camera?
Yeah, and I
What
think
is
there's cameras on the door too. So
Oh, neat.
one wonders if this thing could even be driven legally in the United States.
Yeah, is it federalized? Unclear. Lotus is going to come back with a lot more details, but I'm curious if this comes. I'm sure it'll come here. We're like one of the biggest markets of supercars. Of course, they'll find a way to make it come here.
Plus, I feel like if you're rich enough to like drop $2 million on a Lotus, you can find some way to break the law and just drive whatever the hell you
Laws aren't
want.
for you.
Yeah,
They're
laws are for normal people, not
Yes.
wealths.
Laws are for people who can't afford lawyers.
Yeah.
Haha. And on that note, I think we can conclude. Thank you so much for watching this episode of Car Time, and
And that's all the car time we have for you today. Good work, Justin.
Nice job, Aaron.
See you next week. That's you being a news anchor? It's you doing a dab? Should we both do dabs?
Yeah.
Yeah,